This is Andy Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to be joined by Peter Fury on Skype. Peter, first and foremost, how are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Good to see you again, Andy.
You too, Peter, you too. Obviously, it's been a while, and with everything that's going on at the minute, I imagine it'll be a while longer until we do get to catch up. I know that you've probably been asked about it numerous times, but seeing as it's the first time I've spoken to you, how are you finding life in lockdown?
Yeah, not too bad. We're just getting on with it, same as anybody else. I've not moved out the house, really. Yeah. So I've just been locked down and just watching a few films on the telly, just passing the day, doing a bit of training, exercise to keep calm. And that's it, Andy, really.
What have you been getting into?
Doing a few of these interviews. And that's about it.
What have you been watching? What's been catching your eye?
I watched all of the Homeland series. Yeah. I thought that was pretty good. I enjoyed that, actually. What else did I see? And I'm watching Designated Survivor, about the American president with Keith Sutherland in it. That's very good. So I'm looking at that at the moment. And then when that's finished with, I'm on to the next one.
Well,
so yeah, just relaxing, and just enjoying the TV, enjoying my family. That's it.
I'll certainly keep my eye on those programmes you've just mentioned there. But obviously, as we're doing this interview now, one of the reasons why I've wanted to do it for a while is I've wanted to do something more in depth with you for a while. I haven't had the chance to. Obviously, boxing world's manic. It's very busy, as you know more than anybody how things work in that industry. I wanted to look kind of over your life because it's just such a fascinating story, which I'd love for you to be able to tell without people kind of having their own perceptions of you from what they'll read or what have you. So just start from the beginning, Peter. What was Peter Fury like as a child? What's your earliest memory growing up?
Well, just our culture, really. Just a normal boy growing up with my mother and father, with my brothers. That's we moved from place to place, and that was it. My dad went out working every day, and so did my mother. We went with them, and we moved from place to place. We was put in various schools up and down the country, sometimes for a few days, sometimes for a few months, sometimes for a few weeks, wherever we was, and we just moved up and down like that when we was small kids.
Obviously, you're based up in Manchester now, but when was it when you kind of settled there with yourself or your family? Was it when you was older, having a family of your own, or was it when you was 10, 11? When did you kind of settle your roots?
No, I think I was 14. I think when I first went to Manchester, I was 14. We moved up and down from place to place, and then when I was 9, we went to a place called Staveley in Chesterfield, and I stayed there until I was nearly 14 years of age. And then we moved. I think we moved up and down the country again, just briefly, went to Bristol and stuff, and then we come to Manchester when I was 14, and that's when I met my wife. So yeah, I just turned 14, I think, when I went to Manchester.
Why Manchester? Out of all the cities in the country, why did your family settle on Manchester?
I've no idea. I asked myself that. I was down to my mother and father. I just went wherever they said. So we was all together. None of us was married. None of my brothers was married back then. We was all single young fellas. So we just ended up there. And once we did get there, I think we was there probably maybe a year, maybe 2. I'm not sure. I can't remember back. And then we moved up and down again. But we always stayed. Oh, we did. We moved from Manchester to Lancashire, to Accrington, which is near Blackburn. So we moved there, and I think and then when I was 16, I ended up getting married. Obviously, my wife was still in Manchester, and I'd moved there to Accrington. So we got married and stuff, and that was it. I stayed on a traveller's site. It was Jim West, and that's where my mother and father was as well. So got married, and what happened then? I moved to a place called Haslingden when I was 17, and I bought a place, the first place I ever had. and I bought this piece of land. I moved a static caravan on it, like a chalet thing, and we stayed there. And we stayed there for about 5 or 6 years, and then moved deeper into Manchester, back into Stockport. That's it. We've always been around the Greater Manchester area from being just turned 14. Always at different parts of Manchester, Greater Manchester, I should say.
There's obviously, a lot of travellers which are in the sport and in boxing who I've spoken to, and I've asked them about their background and their family's history and what have you. When you was growing up, what was it like for you as a traveller? When I speak to them, I've spoken to John, and John said he felt discrimination up until now. What was it like when you was younger? Did you feel any discrimination, or?
Not really. I had plenty of friends and that. Never really. I can't say I felt the same thing. So no, just normal really. Yeah. Had a normal childhood. We was travellers. I think you got a bit of it in the schools where we was, because we was put from school to school. So obviously you're being entered in the school as a gypsy, aren't you? So obviously there was a few problems there. But once we got settled in and that, they was fine. So in general, it was okay. Nothing to talk about. And like when I got a little bit older, I didn't bother me at all.
And obviously, moving on to your teenage years and your early 20s and what have you, what was Peter like then? Obviously, for people my age now, it's a lot of going to the pub or going to the football and what have you. What did you used to get up to with yourself and your brothers as well? I imagine you might have some mischievous stories to share there.
Not really. We went to the various leisure centres, boxing clubs up and down. Same as what a lot of other young fellows done at the time. Got into quite a bit of trouble. Fighting with other kids and stuff like that. But basically, there's nothing really childhood really. Looking back, there was good days. There was happy times then. There was, and that was it. I got married young, so like I said, life grew up pretty quick for me. Because like I said, I was 16, got married, and then I just got on with my missus.
Obviously, if you was to look over the internet and you was to type your name in, your past is documented about what you'd done and what you'd been convicted for and what have you. I don't obviously want to start saying anything wrong. I've read up on it, but I don't have my own opinions or anything because.
No, well, I've done an in-depth interview on this with British boxers about all my past and what happened in jail and everything else. Your past is your past. I'm not hiding it. I am what I am. I'm never going to get an OBE, am I? I'm not interested. But the fact is, I'm a real person. So can't distinguish from your past. All you can do is put amends to it, and don't try and glorify it, because crime's no good. And young bits of children today, and young fellows, need to always. The straight way is the best way.
Can you reflect on that period of your life for me, Peter? Just so obviously, I know you said you did that interview, but for everyone who tunes in to watch ours, so they can understand you better and what you did go through to where you are now. Obviously, you want to try and work through your life.
I spent roughly about 9 years in Category A prisons. There was hard times back then. So, got through that and got a big, paid fines and stuff, a lot of money in fines, and then just got on with my life really, come out, got rid of that off my back, and that's it, settled down really. Come out of the crime scene altogether, left it way behind.
Obviously, looking over social media, not social media, but like over the internet, it mentions, the drugs and what have you. How do you kind of fall into that? How did you find yourself going down the route of what you did in the past?
Like I said in another interview, it comes as part of the parcel, So, like I said, never just come with a city. Obviously, there's money involved. You try and make money, so it was just one of them. Different outlook when I was younger. So, the person sat here today is a different person that was back then. The mindset was totally different. So, we we live and learn. You know, went down the wrong path, and that's it. I paid the price for it. Done me time, paid me way, and everything else, and that's it. You know, you just got to move on with stuff.
What was prison like for you? What was it like trying to deal with it? Obviously being away from your family as well.
Prison is the loneliest place in the world. You know, you lost your freedom, and you've lost your family. You know, so you're spending years in. You know, you go and sit yourself in a room with no decorations in a small room as big as your toilet, and see how long you can sit there. Because when you're in a category A position, you're in units. You're not on mainstream landings and stuff with other prisoners. You're locked in. You're in a vault. So basically, you're just by yourself, 23 and a half hours a day, or some days 24 hours a day. Because, you know, if there's a little bit of drizzle of rain or anything at all, they wouldn't let you out. So, like I said, there was hard times back then. You know, you got all you had in your cell was a cardboard chair and a cardboard table and a concrete bed. You know, so it was a little thin plastic blue mattress on it. So they're the conditions, you know. So it's all right spending hours in there. You know, well, I don't know. There'll be many people that's not been into prison properly, or just been in a police cell, and it's very similar to a police cell. That's what you're in. So that's your home for, you know, in my case, for 14 months. 14, 15 months I spent like that. So, yeah, there was definitely not good times, for sure. It was hard. But, you know, got to deal with it.
Talking about that mental challenge, how did you find being in there, in and amongst others who, I know you may not, you know, you'd have found out what they would have been in there for, you wouldn't have agreed with, or you wouldn't have wanted to have been close to them. Talk about the mental side to it, or being in such an enclosed space.
Well, I wasn't with anybody on remand. So, like I said, there was no closed space. I was by myself. It was solitary confinement. So there'd be people probably next door to me and stuff. We wasn't allowed to have exercise together, or there was nothing like that. So basically, you're separated from everybody. The only people you see are the guards and the officers who come and get your food, or, you know, take you to court or whatever. Come out and give you your exercise. You don't see another individual because, you know, it was a very high risk. So basically, that's the way it was. It was isolation.
What were the officers in there like with yourself?
I've got to say, there was gentlemen with me, you know. I can't paint any wrong picture of them, you know. They never bothered me. They were stern, don't get me wrong. And they said, look, we've read your file. We know what you're about. And they said, look, we're not, you know, don't give us any trouble, and we won't give you any. They said, but look, you know, you're certainly not somebody who's going to get anything knocked off for good behaviour, you know, because of your category and who you are. He said, but what we will do, we'll relax your visits and stuff, and we'll give you phone calls to your wife, and we'll give you visits for your family, your wife and your children. And he said, that's as much as we can offer you, but, you know, but if you don't play ball with us, you know, not only will we try and we'll deal with you properly, but we'll shut your family off, and we'll shut your visits off. So that, so it was straight talking, really, and that's it. I understood it. And that's it. So I played the game. I played ball with them. You know, there's no problem. But it wasn't as if there was nobody harassing me. You know, so there was nobody giving me a hard time. There was one particular one in Manchester when I first went to Strange Ways. And he's a well-known officer, and he was a bit clever over the years. He was a youngish fellow. He was not so young, but back then he'd probably be in his 50s. And he... We had a few words, nothing major, but we had a few words, you know, and I said, you know, you want to watch what you're doing, I said, because you're not talking to a little smackhead on the wing here. So basically, we just had a little bit of altercation, nothing of anything, no nicking sheet, nothing like that. But that was the only words I had. And then years later, I went back in my sentence, I went back to the same prison, in Manchester, because I got a Category A unit there as well. And I went there for some visits, and the same officer was there, but he was nearly on retirement. And, you know, he remembered me and stuff, and we had a chat, and there was no problem. You know, I've spoke to the guy, but that was it. But there was no issue with him. He was good with me, actually. They treat me with decency. They treat me with respect. and I give it back. So it was good with me, and I was good with them.
I remember hearing and reading about the fact you moved around to a few different prisons. What was that like? Not being settling in one and being made to move to different ones.
Well, yeah, you can't get settled. You're there for 20 odd days, or 28 days, 26 days, whatever it may be, and you move from prison to prison. So that come with a category. So yeah, so they just come for you early in the morning, and that's it. You're off. So you're travelling light, so to speak. So in my case, I had one of these like a banana suit. So it'd be blue with like orange patches all over it. So it's like an escape suit. So if you tried to run off, you'd be like totally illuminous, going down the street. So it was one of them. So yeah, and then I went to Armley in Leeds, and I was down the block there for about, I don't know, 3 weeks. And he said to me, they got an F wing. It was building it. It was new at the time, and they said, we can put category prisoners on it. So I remember walking through the prison of Armley Prison with this multicoloured thing I've got on, and I've got like, and they're walking me through this prison, and obviously I was well known in the system anyway, because a lot of people knew me. So as I'm walking through the thing, people shouting and all that, and it was all right, but only lasted on there about 3 days, and they suddenly moved me again. So it was okay while it lasted. But even though I was on this F wing, wherever it was, I think it was F wing, I was locked. I was on the mainland wing, but only there for three or 4 days. But it wouldn't let me out, so I was locked behind the door. So there was no point in the first place. So, but I got moved. But yeah, that's how it was really, from prison to prison.
What's it like when you are walking around, or you're walking through a prison, past the other cells or past other inmates? Are you ever looking over your shoulder? Are you ever thinking, could something happen here?
No, I wasn't too bothered about it at all. That was the least of my worries. I wasn't bothered about anything like that. No, we just moved from prison to prison, and we got sentenced, and that's the first time I got put on the mainstream with other prisoners and stuff. And there was a few blips on there. Look, I wasn't fighting in there every week, but probably every now and again there'd be problems. So that's the way it is, and that's not just me. That's the population in there. There's problems happen. But I did feel sorry for the weaker people in there. I want to say weaker, like non-confrontational, or say non-violent people, or whatever. People that's just come in there. You got a lot of serious people in there, so they get took advantage of and stuff. So that was not nice to see. It is what it is. That's the systems.
What goes through your mind then when you are in solitary confinement? How do you kind of try to keep your mind active and busy?
Well, what did I used to do when I was in there? Basically, I used to train in the cell. I'd do circuits and stuff. Obviously, to make myself tired, I used to get books at the library. I used to bring them to the cell, and I'd read them, and stuff like that. I was in Liverpool in the block, and I read. They had me there for quite a long time. Actually, they had me there for 4 months, and I ended up getting moved because they had the exercise yard, and it was like under the ground. When they put you out of the block and you went in exercise, it was only like, say, 8 feet long and maybe a metre wide. So it was like an above ground. You was below ground, and it had like some netting on the top. And then you see the main people walking past every day, the prisoners going from different parts of the prison and stuff, So they look down and they can see you. So there's one guy, he kept taunting me every time I went for exercise. They must have moved at the same time. And he kept calling me a nonce case. And, he must have thought I was in there for rape or whatever, Just a local thug, I don't know what he was. Anyway, so he kept spitting at me through the cage. And I just said to him one day, I said, if I ever get my hands on you, I said, it'll be the last thing you're ever going to do. Anyway, he said, that was it. So he kept he kept abusing me, calling me these names day in, day out. And one day, I'll get back to it. So anyway, I was there for about 4 months. So while I was there, I got a book on the King of Scots, it was called, by Robert de Bruce, which they done the film Braveheart.
Yeah.
So I read that book, and I loved it. The time flies. Yeah. So when that was good. So that passed a lot of your time, man. I really enjoyed that book. It was a lot better than the film. The film was very good, but the book was even better. So and I was there for a good time, 4 months, and then they let me use the telephone to phone me missus. And you've got you've got to book your slot. So when they get you out the cell with you being a high risk, an officer then has got to put the earphones on, and he's got to listen to your call in actual time. Although it's recorded, he's got to listen to it as well. So I went to use the phone, and I'm waiting for the officer to give me permission. So he said, just give me a minute, I'll get ready. So I'm stood to the phone. So I turns around, and this kid who's been spitting at me through the wire, he's having an adjudication. Now, a lot of people who get nicked in prisons, they go down the block for the adjudications. That's where the governor reads out the charges, what they've done. So I've turned around while I'm on the phone, and it's him. He's there, isn't he? So you can read for yourself what happened.
How did people find out about what others were in there for, what they'd done wrong, and their convictions? Because I don't know, were people proud about what they'd done? Were people trying to keep it secret? How did people find out about their past?
No, because everybody's in there. There's a lot of people in there for drugs. There's a lot of people in there for murder. It can be a range of things what people's in there for, and it is what it is. When you're sentenced on the mainstream wings, everybody's in there. But the only people that keep secrets is the ones that's in for sexual offences and stuff, something like that. Well, at the time when I was in there, they wasn't allowed to be with us on the wings because they would get done in. Yeah. So they had to go on the VP wings, which is for vulnerable prisoners. So they went there. But a lot of the times, these type of people used to go on the wings, but not declare who they was. And then people would find out, and they'd end up getting done in and stuff like that. That's the way it used to be on there. So like you said, it's the only people with things to worry about was the people in there for sexual offences and stuff.
I remember watching your other interview, and you mentioned your brother used to send you letters every day of a week. How important was that for you to keep that constant line of communication?
I think when you're in there, it's nice to know. Like my brother Huey, God rest his soul, he's not with us any longer. But he used to write me letters, and he'd pen them letters, and he'd write me 3, 4, sometimes 6 pages. And he'd write me extra for weekend because knowing there was no letters Saturday and Sunday. So my letter would come on a Friday, and it'd be 3 times the size of the others, The way he used to write me an A4 size shape back and front through the week. Friday I'd get 3. So there'd be 6 pages, And I used to read them letters, and it made me realise, I think to myself, this is you do need things like that. You need your own people. But it was nice. He wrote to me every single day for 6.5 years.
Let's talk about life away from prison. When you was released, how did you find trying to adapt back to society in the way that the world would have changed during your time away?
Yeah, there's quite a lot of changes. You come out and you hit with bills, and you've got to pay your way, and all the problems that you didn't think about when you was inside, you think about all of a sudden they landed on you, and you don't think about it. So it's a big commitment then. So you've got all the pressures and the strains, and paying bills. It hits you full on. So it's a steady transition. Nothing's simple. So it takes about, I think it took me a good 2.5 years to thoroughly, properly settle down after I come out.
When you left prison, how do you kind of, I don't know whether procedure is the right word, but how did you go about kind of leaving behind your past life? Did you have to cut off everybody who you used to work with? Did you have to do it silently? How did it all kind of unfold from there?
I lost a lot of interest with different people, in the stuff. People was owing me money and stuff, and I've always been properly in business. If I buy something, I buy it and I pay for it. If I owe money, I pay for it. I've always had a good name like that. So basically, but people's not the same way back. You sell them something and they couldn't pay for it, and then they'd go behind your back. They start going to the police and stuff and saying, he's going to kill me in a minute. I'm not going to get my money back. So there was all this kind of things, a lot of skullduggery going on. And it wasn't just that. It was a number of things, really. And I just thought one day, why am I even involved in it anyway? I thought, what's it for? For money. And I've never really lived with money anyway. It's never bothered me. And I've always been able to get money the right way. So when I looked at it, I just turned the corner, probably thinking about it in my subconscious for a while, and then I just basically what I thought about were things that really mattered, and that was my wife and my kids, and what it would do to them, any more problems. So I think, I just called it a day, and I've never looked back since. When you do take a step back and you have a look what you've been involved with, and you look back, and you say to yourself, whatever did I do that for? For what? Money? It's no it's a waste of time.
What was it? Do you think it was maybe a sense of power that you wanted to kind of reign over Manchester? What do you think it was that really made you want to go down that route for as long as you did?
Yeah, maybe. Like I said, maybe challenges. All these type of things. All these setting these goals. Challenges. Nobody's done this before. Well, anything that nobody done before, I was interested in it. So yeah, probably just all of that. What you said, or a combination of different things. So you're right. Young, foolish. Too game for your own good. Without realizing the consequences. But like I said, I paid the consequences. So it is one of them. But maybe, look, I've got no regrets. I've got regrets even bothering in crime in the first place, because if I'd had my time again, who wants to go through 9 years of hell, and go through all the shit? So looking back, I wouldn't have done. But the same rule, it carves your character. It makes you the person you are, and you realise, that the world, if you think it's bad, can be a lot worse when you step out of line.
How many people from your time in prison or away from that have you kind of kept in touch with? Who do you still speak to on just a friend's basis?
I speak to quite a few people, actually. They've all gone straight today, and they're good friends of mine, and we've known each other many, many years, a long time, and we're still in touch today. And, they've gone through very similar scenarios, some of them worse than what I did. Yeah. We know each other. We know a lot of people. I probably know nearly everybody in the country, actually. But like I said, I've got a few select friends who's come from the same background as me, and they've also done very well for themselves.
Let's obviously move on from all of that then, and on to your route into boxing and becoming a boxing coach. How do you kind of take that on? What made you think I can go on to achieve what you have done so far back then?
I never really looked at boxing as achieving anything in it. Boxing come by fluke because of my son. So I got involved in boxing because of Huey with his amateur career and stuff, and it just went on from there. So that's the beginning and the end of it all. It was just like a family thing, and it was something. What boxing done for me as well, it kept me occupied. It kept me away from all things. So I've got boxing to thank as well, probably, because it's kept me, I was too busy with that every day, because boxing's a full-time job. So that occupied my mind as well. So, my interest, went just, I suppose it's the way your life is and stuff. But I enjoyed working with the boxing, and it was good for me. So that's how I got involved in it.
When Huey was coming up as an amateur, what was going through your mind? Did you see the potential to go on to fight for world titles, hopefully become a world champion, or the same with Tyson. Did you see that, or was it just you just wanted to see how far they could go and just allow them to enjoy their boxing?
Yeah, it was there. I was there just to give them all the support they needed, and there was good times back then. It was enjoyable. We all got on very well because obviously it was family anyway, and we really enjoyed it. Probably some of the best times actually.
Obviously, I do just want to mention your brother Huey, because Huey's a reason that we know each other at all. Obviously, my uncle, when he took his life, you reached out to my father and you spoke to him and you invited us both up, and I'll always be eternally grateful for that, Peter. That meant a lot to me, that you did that, and you've always kept in touch, and he genuinely means the world to me. For me, it's always a matter of, with my uncle, I just want to make him proud. I just want to do right by him and hope that he's going to be proud looking down on me. With you and your brother, do you feel the same? Do you feel like you just want to continue to try to make him proud?
Yeah, listen, he lived a good life. He was a good boxing man himself. He's left behind a beautiful family. He did, a loving family as well. All of his children, he's got 2 boys and a girl, and 3 boys and a girl. Sorry. And they're all, his wife there. What can you say and do? But he left a lovely family behind. But it's one of them. But he loved his boxing. He did. He was very old-fashioned, my brother Huey, as well. So yeah. But these things, look, it's life. Whatever happens, life moves on, and we just got to deal with it.
100%, Peter. And once again, I do just want to thank you for everything you've done with regards to getting in touch with my father and keeping in touch with myself.
No problem. You treat people as you want to be treated yourself. And the thing is as well, it's nice to be able to, like you there, you want to make your uncle proud, and you're doing the right things. Look, the right way is not the easy way. It takes time. When you're young as well, you can be impatient, impulsive. You want things now. You look at other people and you think, oh, he's got a nice car, I want a nice car. All these type of things. But it's all irrelevant, because a wise young man will say to himself, I'll just stick to my thing here, and as long as I'm happy doing it, you don't know what comes of it. You don't know where you can end up. But if you keep straight and do the proper way, sky's the limit. Because what it is for most young men today, if you can stay out of trouble and get focused on something, 9 times out of 10 it will turn into a success. You can turn anything into a success if you want it bad enough. And if that's not working, sit down and have a look. There's plenty of opportunities out there.
100%, Peter. No, I agree completely with that. Obviously, let's move on to Huey then. When Huey did turn over professional, then what was kind of the plan and the route that you wanted to guide him down?
Well, more or less, the route has been guided already. He won the World Championships in Armenia, and he turned professional with Mick Hennessy. And, Mick Hennessy guided him, very well. And he's still part of the team today. He's guided Huey to, most of his fights. He's, from Hennessy Sports, Huey's gone over to Sky. But like I said, he's been guided absolutely right, Huey. He's had the best of advice, promotions, and everything else. So he's got a good team. With the team we've got now, there's Mick, there's Eddie Hearn, there's MTK and stuff. All Huey needs to do is get in the ring and keep winning.
You obviously had that phenomenal night in Germany with Tyson. On the back of your success with him, did that bring any added pressure for yourself to try to achieve the same with Huey?
Not really. No, I wouldn't even look at it like that. I've never felt any pressure whatsoever. Pressure to want them to win, because everybody's got that. You wouldn't be in sport if you never had that, But that was it. So that was a very good memory back then, and and we've moved on and just on with it again. And no matter what, we can all set targets, world champion or whatever. But, please God, Savannah, Huey to get where they're going. But, and they get world titles. I'll still be where I am here today. It ain't gonna change me. But it's a nice success story for the family and for the people I've worked with to be able to help and be a part of that. So it's good.
Just to quickly reflect on it, I'd love to know, what did it mean for you that night in Germany? Winning that, because I just remember the one thing I remember, just to touch on your brother Huey again. After the fight, I saw Tyson put on the shirt, with him on it, saying "Rest in peace" and that. What did it mean for you to have had that night?
Well, you want them to win very, very badly, and you see what they go through in the training camps and everything else, and for him to win that, a young man who everybody thought never had a chance. So it was a special moment. I was very, very happy for him anyway.
Something I was always interested in, obviously, around that fight, we saw the ring and the extra padding and stuff about the hand wraps. How did you kind of know about these things to look out for? Was it just something you knew would be playing a part on the night? What made you think about checking those extra things that could make such a difference?
I never really thought that much about it, and looking at the setup over there and how things was, look, when I'm in serious fights like that, and there's a lot going on, I tend to take myself off, and I'll go up in the hotel room, and I'll just lie on the bed, and I'll do a lot of thinking, and I'll think about things, and it just come across my mind. I thought to myself, oh, I'll go and check the ring. Not that I was checking the ring for sponge or anything like that. Yeah. I just thought I'll just go and check it anyway, And the basis behind the madness, as I said to Tyson at the time, I said, the ring's erected. I want you to come down and test it. Why not? There's nothing else to do. So we went down there, and when I had a look at it, I could see there was a problem. So I sent him back, and we sorted it out.
For you, in your opinion, where does that rank in past performances over the past 20 or 30 years in boxing? As you mentioned, many people always saw Klitschko as the favourite, and you said people never gave Tyson a chance. But for you, where does that rank, that performance?
Well, I think he's got to go down as one of the greatest performances, because, like I said, he's 10 years unbeaten, and you got this kid what nobody really give a chance to go over there and take the belts off him with the unanimous decision. So it was it was a fabulous win.
He was obviously, and I've said it.
Yeah, but he was supposed to be the number one in the world.
I've said it in numerous conversations before. It was a brilliant performance, and nobody could fault him. Final thing on it all is, when you do see him now, are you there shouting at the TV still, like, Tyson, do this, do that? What type of mindset do you have when you watch him now?
I've not watched it for quite a few years, so like I said, it was very good at the time. I've got all good memories of it. So like I said, it's. But look, you're not there to sit down and dwell on things. You move forward, win, lose, draw. You keep going. So like I said, it's for the fans to appreciate the finer art of watching things back on the TV. Because I'm not one for watching fights back anyway. Once the fight's done, it's another box that's ticked. Move on. I'm not somebody to sit in front of the television and look back over these things. Even fights my son's had, I don't really look at them. I look at the negatives in it, and then work to correct them.
What about now, though? Like, whoever Tyson might fight now, are you there like shouting at the TV, or how do you kind of work around it, trying to keep yourself calm?
Well, you just watch the fights, and that's it. You just want them to win, and that's it. It's plain and simple, isn't it? You're there as a spectator. It's sport, and you get excited with all events, because if you never got excited, you wouldn't be in boxing, would you?
100%, Peter. And obviously, with Huey now, let's touch on him. I know he was about to fight on that White Povetkin card in May. Where does kind of Huey lie now with this year in his career? I know everything's on hold, but what are you saying to him currently?
My focus now is with Huey and Savannah as well, and we're doing our thing, and we're just looking forward to getting the fights back on as soon as we can, and getting him out there, and again showing people exactly what he's about. But we've not seen what Huey's really about. We know he ticks a lot of boxes, but people's never really seen exactly the full extent of what he can do. So I think that's coming up very, very shortly. So we're looking to get him in fights, and he's corrected a lot of the flaws. And that's it. He just needs to do a lot. He needs to do a fair bit more. But I believe he's there now. The confidence is there. He's mature now. He's older, and he's ready.
I remember you saying to me in Manchester, you've been working on things, and that fight on that Dillian White Povetkin undercard, it would have been a chance for you guys to show what you've been working on. How frustrating was it when lockdown came and Hughie's going to have to wait that bit longer to get back out there and have the opportunity to show everybody what he had been looking to improve and work on?
You can't complain when nobody, the country's in dire straits, the world is. So you can't complain. There's no regrets. We're all dealing with it. And, we're in a good place, all of us, because we're all alive, aren't we? We're all alive today, and we're well today. That's what's important. The rest of it, boxing and everything else, everybody's not boxing. Businesses, whatever it is, everybody's in the same position. So we just got to all do the right thing, listen to the guidelines, and get over this as soon as possible, and all get on with what we do every day.
I know obviously there's no schedule to work off, but how far off do you feel Hughie is from getting another world title opportunity?
I think if the fight got put back on, a year. He's ready. He only needs probably another fight or whatever. 1 or 2 fights, he's there. So like I said, as soon as we can get the fights, he'll take them.
And obviously on to Savannah as well. Talk to me about your link up and how that all came about and how you found working with her.
Like I said, she came to the gym one day and she asked me a few things if she could train in the gym because she was waiting to go abroad with Mayweather, and she just stayed and trained with us. And then she was only going to stay a week, and then something happened with the visas or whatever, and she stayed a few more weeks. And I think by the time she got cleared to go over there, when she got a working visa and all this to go through with immigration and stuff, I think she was like 5 or 6 weeks. And she decided then to have the whole camp with us. So she spent about 8 or 9 weeks with me in preparation for a pro fight. So she went over there, I think, a week before, a week to 8 days. And she had the fight over in America, which was very successful. And what else did she do? And that was it. She kept in touch with me every once in a while. And then, nothing really. I think about 3 or 4 months passed. I never heard from her at all. And then I got a phone call from her out of the blue, and she didn't sound too happy. And she says, "I'm coming back home." And she says, "I want to come and see you." So I said, "Yeah, so come back." And that was it. So she come back, and she's been with me ever since.
You're obviously, you're very well respected in the boxing world. Everybody knows how knowledgeable you are. As you only train Hughie and Savannah, how many people do you feel you would take on? Is there anybody else, or are you happy just training your son and Savannah?
Yeah, I'm happy with my son and Savannah, and it's a hard job. You've got to put all your commitment into it, and I can't do anything 50%. So, like I said, I'm not running a business, so it's then it'd be a different story. You'd have a stable of fighters, and you get your percentages and all of that. But for me, there's lots of reasons why I don't too many fighters, because it means I've got to start travelling up and down the country to different shows. I haven't got the time to do that. So it's I've got business. I've got businesses outside of boxing as well. So I have to. So like I said, it works well the way it is. I got Savannah and Hughie. I can put 100% into them. Where if I had any more fighters, I probably wouldn't be able to.
What is it like training your son? When you're going day in, day out, you're seeing each other, working on things. Does he ever get frustrating? Does he ever disagree with things? Does he ever say, maybe I should do this? What is it like being there in your corner for your son?
I think when the fight happens, listen, no matter what you think, you've always got to remain calm. And you've got to keep that fighter calm in the corner, because that's these 60 seconds. They're looking for advice. And, the last thing you need is to panic someone. It's the same it's the same, isn't it? Is you're going for an operation, and all of a sudden the surgeon starts panicking before you go in there. How are you going to feel? So, fights can be won and lost by what they do in the corner. So it's all about being very rational, not speaking a load of instructions because they're not listening. It's just getting that. Fighters can get in a zone, and then they come back in the corner. They're tired if they've had a hard round. You've got to basically calm them down, let them have the deep breaths, and get their attention. Speak so they speak back. I don't talk to a fighter where I'm just talking and they're listening. That's no good to me because for all I know, they could be going one ear and out the other. I have the fighter responding, which takes the fighter then from the fight itself. So the fighter starts communicating back, and that's always a good sign. So then by the time the minute's up, the fighter's ready, he's refreshed, he's took on board what you got to say, and you're off again. It's all, you can be the best knowledge box in the world, but it's how you transition that information so as that fighter receives it. There's that to look at. And unfortunately in boxing a lot of time, you don't see it. There's a lot of things being said. They're trying to overkill it with saying things, and then it all goes into one line. Nothing goes in. So I'd rather just be, as long as they're doing reasonably well, that's it. Keep calm and just get about your job.
So for you yourself then, how does the perfect career map out for both Savannah and Huey?
I think they'll get. I think Huey will win the world title. I think Savannah will. It's just a matter of time. So hopefully we can get Savannah's fight back on, and she'll be a world champion very soon. And that's one of many belts for her. And Huey, within the next 12 months, I think he'll be there. So it's interesting.
What does life after boxing hold for Peter Fury? Have you ever thought about what your, I don't really want to say retirement plan is, but what you'd like to do when you step away from the sport?
When I step away from the sport, let's see. I don't really know. I don't really know the answer to that. Probably just enjoy my family. Go on a few breaks. Do a lot of reading of my Bible, studying. I'd like to get one of these big, powerful telescopes so that I can look at the stars and stuff like that. So I'd spend a lot more time doing that, I think. So I probably just the simple things in life, nothing major.
I know you've travelled to different countries in Europe regularly for holidays and what have you. Do you ever think you could maybe move out there towards life after boxing?
Yeah, I've lived abroad quite a lot. I've spent quite a few years abroad, and I've had homes abroad, and we've lived there. I've got homes in France as well, and but I don't know. I probably wouldn't. It's hard to say. I could probably see myself living half a year abroad and half a year back here. I don't know. So, like I said, I'm not a good flyer. I don't like flying up and down on planes. I'm not that keen on it. So I like countries which are close by that I can drive to. I do fly when I've got to fly, but I'm not somebody who's like a jet setter or stepping on and off planes. It's not for me.
So I take it, are you catching the ferry from Dover to France whenever you go over there?
No, I do fly easy job quite a lot, but when I was living there, but like I said, sometimes if I'm going for a break or on a holiday, I'll just get in the car and drive over.